Hey all, welcome to Flatcar meeting. Since we are part of CNCF, so we adhere to the code of conduct of CNCF. So yeah, that's a nice start for our meeting today. Today there is like some interesting agenda items because we got Ivan that will demo cluster API on Linode for Flatcar. So with no further ado.
Awesome. Thanks. Can everyone hear me? Oh, can everyone hear me now?
Yeah.
That seems better. Awesome. Thanks for giving me the time to present this. My name is Evan. I'm a tech lead here at Akamai / Linode. My team's current focus is on Cluster API for Linode. So we have lots of interest in everything Cluster API, including Flatcar has been a recent interest of ours. We've been working to get Flatcar support for Linode in general, and now that we have that, we actually have some integration with our Cluster API provider. We call CapL, Cluster API provider Linode. So let's see if screen sharing works here. Of course it does not. Sorry, give me a second. I guess I need to quit and reopen, so I will be back very quickly. Sorry.
So I was so excited to say that we're part of CNCF that I forgot to make an introduction round. So like, how about we go about that? So how we do it usually? So whoever talks then points someone, and that someone introduced themselves, and that's the way it goes. Steven, why don't we start with you?
Hi, I'm Stephen Rust. I work at Akamai Linode as a cloud native architect. So I work with Evan as well. And over to Guillaume.
So maybe I can also put myself. So yeah, so I work for Akamai, and I work inside the Kubernetes team, just like so all around Flatcar and all around Kubernetes. And I also knew Mathieu because we are in France and we are inside many different meetup. And also see some of you for some other inside KubeCon in Paris like months ago.
Right, I can continue maybe. So hi everyone, my name is Mathieu. I work as a Flatcar engineer and yeah, working on transversal features like Cluster API, for example. What about you, Adrian?
Hello, my name is Adrian. I work at Cloud-Based Solutions. I also work with Flatcar and mostly cloud-related things with OpenStack, Hyper-V, Azure, and so on. How about you, Chewy?
Yep, I'm James LaCroix, better known as Chewy, Flatcar maintainer since about April. I'm calling from Edinburgh in Scotland. Tilo.
Hey, I'm Tilo. I've been a Flatcar maintainer for, I think, 6 years now, like almost the point in time where we started the Flatcar. I manage the team at Microsoft where a few of my reports are Flatcar maintainers. Sayan.
Hello, so I'm Sayan. I'm from Bangalore, India, and I have been with the. I'm also a Flatcar maintainer, and have been working for past 5 years now. These days I'm primarily looking into the secure boot front in Flatcar. I guess next is so.
Hi, I'm Bongsu. I'm part of the Flatcar team at Microsoft, and yeah, recently I'm working on some Rust project based on Azure. So that's it. Nice to meet you. Next, Ethan.
Is that back to me?
Yeah.
All right. So again, Evan, tech lead here at Akamai Linode, working on Cluster API and lots of different cloud native stuff within Linode.
So I guess I'm the last one. My name is Danielle. I'm a PM for Flatcar working at Microsoft. And I maintain some plans. Besides that, is everyone already went? So how about we start with the demo now?
Sounds good. My screen should be set up now to actually share, so I should be able to check that out. So what I'm demoing here today is the Flatcar integration with our cluster API provider Linode. So this is using kubeatom on Flatcar to spin up a Kubernetes cluster on Linode. So let me start sharing my screen. All right, zoom in a little bit here. There's a lot of feedback from someone. It might be you, Adrian.
It's possible. Sorry.
Sorry. Thank you. All right, so to start off, I do have a Flatcar cluster already running, but just to show some of the setup steps that got me to that. Within CapL, we use flavors very heavily in order to allow you to spin up all different types of clusters and different Kubernetes. We support kubeatom, K3s, and RK2 generally, and within that, we have a whole matrix of different configuration options with etcd backup for each of the flavors or for each of the Kubernetes distributions, and using VPCs, not using VPCs. We have lots of different ways to set that up. So right now for Flatcar, we just have kubeatom support. So that is noted by the kubeatom Flatcar flavor. Currently, due to some limitations in our VPC and metadata services, we are not using Flatcar within a VPC, but that's something we're looking to improve soon. So what this generate command is doing is it's generating a test Flatcar cluster of the flavor kubeatom Flatcar, which we'll take a look at in a second on Kubernetes 1.30. All that fun stuff. So some of the prerequisites to get to this point I had to do was I had to upload a Flatcar image into my Linode account. Linode doesn't currently support sharing images or public images, so I just had to take the latest alpha or beta build and upload it into my account, and then get the ID of that image and export it as an environment variable, and then I'm able to just generate this command or generate this file. So if we take a look at the file cluster and go towards the fun part of it. So here we have the kubeatom control plane. This is where a lot of the interesting stuff here is happening. So because of how manual it is generally to use images within Linode, we chose to not use a golden image and instead to use, I think, the more recently recommended path of actually just installing Kubernetes when the image starts as part of Cloud Init. So here we're using the Ignition format, of course. We are downloading the Kubernetes binaries, starting the services, and using any metadata environment variables available to us to configure that. And that is really the bulk of what it takes to configure, which is really cool. And then there's a lot of other resources within this around firewalls and spinning up Linode machines and all that. But really the focus of the Flatcar is just in this resource itself. Any questions about the configuration here before I move on to showing it running? Right. So I did already set up a cluster here just in an interest of time. So I do have an HA cluster that has 3 control plane nodes, 1 worker node, and sort of hard to see with, let's see if I can make this slightly easier to read. So we can see here it's running the latest beta build of Flatcar, which is also being built for Linode. It's running, this version of containerd, version 1.30, and we have these 3 control plane nodes and 1 worker node. So the integration works very well, very simple to get started, and because of how we leverage the flavors, it's really easy to just in our docs point to, just run a generate command with this flavor, and you have Flatcar Linux running in Linode. Any questions on any of that? Any thoughts, enhancements anyone would like to see?
Yeah, so there is still a bit of limitation currently because, yeah, for example, we don't have the SSH keys being uploaded on the nodes. This is work in progress, and we also have the auto update enabled by default. So if you deploy an older version of Flatcar, you might get the auto update to be running, and it can mess a bit the cluster if you didn't deploy any solution like Curl to orchestrate the reboot of the nodes. But yeah, that's still in progress on these topics. But otherwise, yeah, you can use it like this. It works. And yeah, for the Akamai support, it's still in beta, so you can't yet use it on stable. But yeah, it should be available in the next beta promotion to stable. Thanks a lot for the demo, Evan.
Yeah, happy to. I'm curious what the timeline is for moving from beta to stable.
So maybe Sayan can answer this if you have any insight.
We usually, release every month, and if required, we do a patch release in the second quarter of the month. I mean, half like towards the end of any month. And we recently did a stable release, so anything in beta would probably land stable in, I would say, another 3-4 months towards the end of the year.
Awesome.
So we got the time to get the new feature of ignition being merged and ingested into alpha and beta to be fully tested before it lands on stable.
Cool.
So one thing that you get in Cluster API when you're using the composable images approach that we're doing with the Flatcar instead of Image Builder is in-place Kubernetes updates. And I fully understand this is not fully supported by the management cluster yet, but have you been dabbling with the ideas of looking into this?
The in-place upgrades is something we are very interested in internally, and it's something we definitely like to leverage. I know there's a proposal for Cluster API Core to support this more fully that I'm keeping a very keen eye on. But yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting use cases for the in-place upgrade, and being able to leverage Flatcar to help deliver that would definitely be of interest to us.
So let me drop you a link. I just put it in the Jitsi chat. So this is all, it's more or less proof of concept, because what we're doing here is we're updating it from the node's point of view, and we don't tell the management cluster. So there's kind of, I mean, it works, and kubectl of your worker cluster will display the right Kubernetes version. It works in the same way that we do operating system updates in Kubernetes. So it's just a reboot file being created, and then QED picking it up, rebooting the node, and you have the new minor version. We don't support major Kubernetes version upgrades, say 129 to 130, because upstream doesn't. They want you to, handhold your node when you do that. So we're scared as well. But like minor in-place upgrades basically work. So there's a small demo that we're usually doing, which kind of, it has some snippets that you need to put into the YAML for system users update to work and to run this. But if you want to explore in that direction, what we are looking for, like we're on the operating system side of things, right? And from our point of view, like we have all the pieces in place. We give you a mechanism that you can update Kubernetes in your own pace using your own sysex, so you don't need to use the sysex from the bakery. And now we're looking for Kubernetes folks to actually take this idea and bring this into core cluster API as a concept, right? It's super straightforward. The mechanisms are very, very simple, but I mean, we're looking for help and support there. So if you have an interest in picking this up, I know that the CapZ folks, like the Cluster API Azure folks, they are very interested in that as well. So you wouldn't even be alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely read through this and take a look at it. the challenge that I'm interested to see how it is solved in core cluster API is how the version is sort of reported back to the management cluster, or how we get that reporting back. That seems like the sort of key part here.
This is I mean, if you just put it on its head, so Flatcar updates do it the other way around, right? Like, we determine server side the version any instance asking us for an update will get, right? So if you apply the same point of view, the same concept to in-place Kubernetes updates, so systemd sys update basically just requires an HTTPS endpoint that serves a checksum file, basically kind of like an index file, right? So this is a well-known path that you actually give systemd sys update in its configuration. It will go there, grab the file, and by using that mechanism, it would learn which updates are available. Now, and this is dreamt up by an operating system guy, so don't take it as solid. But I've heard that Kubernetes actually it should be quite easy to serve HTTPS endpoints in a Kubernetes cluster. I heard that is all what the cluster ever does. So the management cluster could have a mechanism in which the worker clusters would get node-specific URLs to check for updates. And then if you wanted to expose a new Kubernetes version to a node in the management cluster, all you need to do is deliver a different index file when the node comes by and asks for an update. So all of that is basically available over simple HTTPS and can be mapped as such. But it could be way more complicated, like whatever you would like it to be. And then, of course, the interaction with QD would be, you know from the management cluster side that this node now has downloaded and staged the update. And then QD comes along and kind of notifies you, yeah, I just need to reboot that thing. And then you know that the update has been applied. So from my point of view, and as I said, I'm very naive. I'm at the OS side of things, right? From my point of view, all of the building blocks that you need in order to build this very easily in the management cluster are already in place.
Yeah, I definitely, that seems like that definitely could be on the right track. Just if folks are interested in the cluster API side, I just posted the current proposal that's in draft on cluster API for handling the in-place upgrades from their side.
Nice.
So yeah, I think it'd be really cool. Yeah, specifically the auto scaling is something we've thought a lot about, and because I think from the OS side, doing an in-place upgrade is not incredibly difficult. You can have scripts to do that, but then as nodes scale up and down, how do you make sure that any changes you did are affected on future nodes that join the cluster? And hoping with between the Flatcar OS update approach and the in-place management from CAPI, we can use the two of those to handle in-place upgrades fully.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, from the Flatcar side, and this is again the operating system point of view, all of the individual items are available. You could, in the management cluster, as well run a Nebraska instance, and by interfacing with that, just manage whatever operating system updates are exposed to any given node.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just to add more details, when we initially implemented the cluster API Linode Flatcar template, we used the same approach as the cluster API OpenStack provider, which means we were shipping the systemd sys update configuration files and everything, but we hit a limitation because on the Akamai side, you can't really upload big payload for the user data. So we had to shrink everything and to remove what was not necessary to get things up and running. But yeah, this is going to be solved because Guillaume is working on this on the Ignition side to be able to support gzipped user data. So maybe in the next weeks, next month, we be able to ship the systemd sys update configuration files for cluster API Flatcar templates on Akamai.
Awesome.
Nice.
Absolutely great. It's so great seeing this. This is amazing work. Thanks, folks.
Good. I'm not sure who's going to present the next item, but like we have a link to a blog post that talking about what's new in the new stable release. So who wants to dive into that?
Everyone will have to read the blog post.
Yes.
Sayan, do you want to do it?
Sure, 1 minute.
I'll post it here in the chat. Wait, no, I have
Yes.
another.
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, it's here in the chat. And
Cool. I'll share my screen.
also on YouTube chat.
Yes. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So over the last release, so we did a release, major stable release. I guess this was in August. It's almost more than a month now. But with this stable release, we plan to start more of a blog post for every major stable that we do, so that people know what are the new things that are getting added. So we definitely added, thanks to work by Matthew, we added a couple of vendors to the Flatcar stable, uh, and we are on the way to add more and more. Then we worked on sysex that are available on Flatcar. So there are a few more sysex that's got added, primarily on the CFS and the Docker work and etc. So if you want to know more, you could always head over to the sysex bakery, and you'll see the with all the releases. It includes all the sysex that we provide with the release, and yeah. Share this tab. The next thing is we also introduced so we have been working on the TPM work. So we added a TPM based disencryption that was done by a contributor. So thanks to the work, and we also bumped the Linux kernel from 6.1 to 6.6. So yeah, and next is with the stable release, we had more than 2,000 commits that came in with 24 plus contributors doing the work, and among them we had like 7 new contributors helping out in the release. And yeah, and if you're looking to get involved, we have a tracker which has the bugs, as well as if you want to report any issue, you can head over to the tracker and file the issue. We are available on Matrix and Slack. And yeah, if you like the projects, go over and start the projects on GitHub, and we would encourage you to join our office hours as well as a developer sync meeting, which have different agenda. Developer sync meeting is mostly talking about the development work that is going on Flatcar, and office hours we usually showcase what things we have done new in Flatcar. And finally, if you use Flatcar, we encourage you to add your name to the adopters file that we have. So you could just create a PR that lists that how you use Flatcar in your company. That's it.
Actually, Sam, the next item is also on you. Talk about the release planning.
Okay, I'll share my screen.
We should have the big fat Docker warning
Oh.
in there before release planning.
Yes, sorry. I kind of render it as the title.
No, that's fine. Can someone with the agenda open share their screen? I'm currently in. So this is about change that will be coming to the next stable release of Flatcar, the one that ships Akamai Linode support. And it's nothing to do with Akamai Linux support, but it's just a nice thing to mention. So we have Docker 26 in beta. Currently in stable is Docker 24. There are a number of features which have been removed from Docker upstream that are not in Docker 26 anymore. They're still in Docker 24. Most notably, most of the legacy storage drivers have been removed So the device map as storage driver is gone. I'm not sure about the BudderFS storage driver. I hear conflicting things. I think that's still there, but a number of other items are just not there anymore in Docker 26. And that's fine because it's just housekeeping that upstream does. However, if you run a node that uses those and you update to the new stable, then suddenly Docker probably won't work anymore for you. So we would like to invite everybody in doubt with existing instances that just update to take a look at the new beta and to make sure that the new beta runs for them and works for them. There's still a bit of time, as Sayan mentioned, we just released the stable version. There's still maybe 2 months to go until this will hit stable. So you can stop us from this hitting stable if it causes issues with your workload and if those issues are solvable on the operating system end. So please test the new beta, make sure it works with your workload. If there's any issue you run into, please absolutely go and report it to us. Even if it's a Docker 24 to Docker 26 issue, we'd like this documented so people know about it. If there's any way for us to solve that issue for you, we will absolutely make sure that we will solve the issue you run into with your workload before it hits stable. Please test.
So I was just testing if Tilo is awake, and he is. So now we could actually go to the next item.
Cool. Yeah. Yes. So before we jump into the releases, we just completed one on September 7th, I guess, or basically last week we cut out a new release. So Matthew was running the release. So Matthew, do you want to add something that was majorly covered? We definitely had a couple of bug fixes, but anything more that you want to cover for the releases?
No, that's fine. It was basically maintenance releases. Beta has been promoted from alpha, but yeah, nothing really big in terms of features, except that the Docker changes has been landed on beta.
Correct. Another thing I just noticed is so in the last office hours, it was put out that there is a firmware CV. So Gentoo updated it, and we have also pushed the fix. So it's there in the alpha now, and will roll to the next channels. On the So I think the next release would commence in somewhere around like November first week. So probably around like sorry, not November, October first week. So or the second week, we'll start the builds in the first week. So around third, fourth October, we'll target to start off the builds, and then on the 7th or 8th of October, we'll try to do the next release. And I think the work would primarily compose of the package updates as we do on a regular basis, and the security updates. There are a couple of security CVs open, so we'll try to fix those. And other than that, I think we might have some updates from Shim that we are trying to merge in the next few days for secure boot. Dongsu, Chewy, Matthew, do you have anything to add from your work that you're doing?
Not anything that's going to be released soon, I think. Lots of secure boot stuff.
Yeah, quickly wanted to share that since 2 days, 3 days now, we have a Hetzner test running in the CI. So yeah, big kudos to Hetzner to provide some kind of infrastructure for us to run Flatcar tests using Hetzner images on Hetzner. So that's very convenient. Like, so we prevent any regression for Hetzner users using Flatcar. So yeah, thanks to them to provide this. And yeah, this will be tested again in the next release.
Cool. Adrian, Dongsu, you would like to add anything?
No, that's it.
Okay. Adrian?
No.
Okay. Cool. I think that's mostly from the release side. I think we might have more concrete updates towards the developer sync meeting. But for now, like we just got out a release, so I think people are back to working on the items they're working on. Yeah, I think that's from my side. Handing over to Daniel.
Okay, folks, so like let's open it up now. If anyone wants to share something they're working on or anything that they found recently, or I don't know, just tell about a weekend or anything, that's the time.
Debugging grub with GTP is tricky. But I'm getting there. I think I've got it now, actually.
Okay. Anyone else want to share anything else or open to discussion? So thank you so much for joining, and hope to see you in 2 weeks in the Developers Sync, or if not, next month in the office hours.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Bye bye.